Hey everybody, we are back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This year's conference is going to be amazing. We have phenomenal women speaking, and today will be our first conference interview. When I say this young lady coming to us to tell us about her story, why she's doing the actual conference, and all that she has coming up, oh my gosh, let me tell you. So let me dive right in. So this young lady is a business owner, a mother, a financial coach. She's a banker by nature, so that's something we have in common. Oh my gosh, she is a author. When I say you got to get the book as well, we'll talk about that later. She is a mentor, even to me. I follow her even as a client. When I say you are in for a rude awakening, please take the time out after this interview to look her up and check her out, because it's going to be dope. But as we dive in, I want to introduce Miss Raquel Curtis, the Boujee Banker.
How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Yourself?
I'm doing great, girl. Thank you for that introduction. Yes.
I needed more time.
I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait to be speaking at that amazing conference that you all are having. And I'm excited. So let's get into it.
Perfect. So I wanted to start off by getting a chance. I know you, okay? And I still every day learn something new about you, even with the different emails that I get on the personal level. But I want our audience to get a chance to know you. So please tell us about who you are, not your brand yet, but tell us about who you are, and just a little bit of background about you.
Yeah, of course. So my real name is Raquel, and I'm an international money management coach. Never thought I would be saying that, because I have not always had the best relationship with money, but I'm thankful that I went through everything that I did go through, because it has since positioned me to be able to help women all over the world. So just a bit of a backstory. I started out actually majoring in criminal justice because they only had one semester of math. And I was like, I can't stand math. So one semester of math, sign me up. So I was there, and, I became a correctional officer, and I loved everything about it. Unfortunately, one evening, there was a fight that broke out between the inmates, and I was the only officer on the hall. And at that time, I was actually pregnant with my now 9-year-old. So one of the inmates fell on my stomach, and I was rendered bedridden for the rest of that pregnancy. And at that point, I went from having a 3-bedroom home and a career to now being just mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom and a spouse. And while I loved everything I did in my home, I really felt like I struggled with just identity of self and feeling like I was fulfilling my purpose. And so we couldn't afford for my daughter to go to daycare. So I was like, I have to get out of this house. Like, I love y'all, but please, I just need to do something. So I decided to go ahead and work at the daycare that we couldn't afford for our daughter to go to. So I was making $7.25 an hour with a degree. And at that point, I started paying attention to like what management was doing, what the owners were doing. And I was like, this doesn't seem very difficult to figure out. So I started taking weekend classes, got certified with my CBA, eventually opened up a in-home daycare. So I went from watching kids on the weekends to watching them part-time during the week to having a full in-home daycare. And then a few years later, I was able to open up the first women's only gym with childcare in my city at the time.
Yes.
So I was living, like, it was like, yes, it was good. But the problem was, as good as business was, I had a terrible relationship with money. And so I was getting clients and all this stuff, and, fast as money was coming in, it was going out. And so one day I was headed home, and this older gentleman, he ran a red light and he T-boned me. And so at that point, I was rendered unable to work. I was in a neck brace for about 6 months. I had about 16 spinal injections. And so if I wanted to come back to my gym, it was just possible. But I was so convinced. I was like, I'm coming back. And I was just letting my accounts bleed out, still paying my employees, still paying the lease, the utilities, all of those things. And it just got to where I literally had nothing left, and my accounts were in the negative. So, at that point, I was like, man, something has to give. So I started selling life insurance, working at hotels, working at senior living facilities. Like, I was working security at FedEx. I was doing whatever I could do to bring money back into my home. And, at this point in time, we were a 2-income earner household living on one source of income, and we needed food stamps, we couldn't qualify for them. Mm-hmm. And so it was really rough. Like, we, for the most part, we're eating Great Value oatmeal for breakfast. Not the name brand, couldn't be named. $25. And then, and we were having, chicken and rice and canned food for dinner. So there were many nights where I could have asked for help. Maybe it was pride. I'm not sure. Maybe it was embarrassment that kept me from really reaching out to my various resources. But I just felt like I had to figure it out. So at that point in time, I was still trying to maintain like the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And that was really the undoing, because I felt like no matter what I did, I'm looking at my kids and I'm thinking, nothing I'm doing right now is actually serving them. And I continue to do what I've been doing. They're going to take on these habits, these behaviors, and they're going to look up one day and want to value things. So it got to a point to where I was realizing everything that I was doing was not serving them. And I had to make some decisions. So I started watching the YouTube videos, downloading templates, and all of the things that I thought was the right thing to do. But the problem is that they only worked until life happened, until I wanted to do something or whatever the case, or until the emotional attachment left. Mm-hmm. That's as long as those templates worked for me. And so I realized that there was a deeper level, and it wasn't just the money, it was me. So that's when I started asking myself those hard questions about money. That's when I really started to get down into my relationship with money. What was I taught about money? How was I taught to behave with money? What are the value systems that I have around money? And I started really working to repair those. And once I did, everything else just shifted. People think the budget is like the hard part, like the numbers are the hard part, but that's not the hard part, because you can create a budget, but how many people are actually going to stick to it? Amen. You got to create your relationship with money first. And so once I did that, the numbers, the budgets, the saving, the investing, everything was just so easy at that point. And it got to a point to where I was helping friends, and someone was like, girl, you good with money. You should think about becoming a banker. Because remember, I was still working all those jobs. Mm-hmm. So this sounds like a really good idea. I became a banker, loved everything about it. To this day, I would probably be in corporate banking or management banking. And as a banker, our jobs are really only to help with accounts, sign people up with loans and credit cards, help them with their debit cards and all that stuff. But I was going above and beyond, because I noticed that parents would come in to help open their child, their account. Mm-hmm. And in order to open their account, we had to see the parent's account. And the parent is telling their child they need to save. And I'm looking at the parent's account. I'm like, your account's in the red too. I remember what it was like to be there. So I started helping parents build budgets. I started helping people who I noticed were fresh with their relationship with money, build their budgets. And people would come to me every time they got paid. We would go through and they started saving money. They would get excited about their money. And one day, December 2020, I walked into work thinking that we were just short-staffed, needing help. It was around pandemic, right? And I walked in, my manager said, hey, I need to talk with you. And I knew I didn't do anything wrong because I was a really good banker. And she was like, listen, the company had to make some decisions due to the pandemic. And unfortunately, we had to let it go. So myself and a few other bankers were let go of in my branch. But I believe it was 70,000 bankers company-wide that were let go of.
Wow.
There I am. It's Christmas time. I have 3 daughters. I'm like, man, what is, all right, God, what's up, God? Like, come on down. All right.
Like, conversation.
I have my benefits, God. What's up? And so, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing because it felt like the right thing to do. And I knew that I was making an impact, a positive impact on people based off of things that I've gone through and been able to get through myself. So I got home. I was like, this is what I'm doing, y'all. I'm doing budgets. Who wants a budget? And from there, we're just grown and blossomed so much since December 3rd of 2020 until today. I have an international brand. I'm an author. I have courses and all that fun stuff. And I've helped women all over the world, not only repair the relationship with money, save thousands of dollars they never saved before, pay down debts. And some people have even went on to buy a home and their credit scores have increased. So it's just been the biggest blessing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just hearing your story over and over again, it's just like, it's amazing. I just want you to know, it's like hearing it for the first time.
Thanks.
So I love it. I want to ask you, so I know as you talked about, starting what your business was going to be, but like, how did you choose your audience? How did you feel that like this was going to become a business? You weren't going to go back into the regular 9-to-5 corporate world, but how did you really, tell us more about your business and why you really started it?
You know what? I will say this. I think honestly, the thing that kind of separates me from other people who get started in business or who want to start a business is I'm not afraid to fail at trying. So like, I'll be like, this is what I'm doing. Like, let's go. And then I'll just jump out there and do it. And if I fall, I'm going to learn. So I'll just get back up and then I'll just pursue it again. But what I'll say for sure is I started making YouTube videos before I lost my job. Right. And I started my Instagram May 4th of 2020. I lost my job December 3rd of 2020. And for me, it was, I knew I had a passion for teaching and educating in finance. I had no idea that it would be what it is today.
Absolutely.
So I knew for sure that this is where I was supposed to be because I lost my job in December. I launched a coaching program in February, I think is when we started. Yeah. And when I launched it, I made more launching that program than I did in the 2 weeks that it would have taken me working. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Hold on. I'm doing what I'm doing what feels good and I'm being paid right. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm not going back. This is cool. I'm good. And then after seeing the results and seeing that I was really truly helping people, I was like, oh yeah, it's a wrap. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help.
Yes. Entrepreneurship journey. Love it. So with all of that, how do you each and every day, get up and be motivated? I know you talked about you have 3 children, 3 baby girls, but what truly or who truly inspires you? Who's your hero, your mentor? What family member continues to get you up every morning to be that amazing entrepreneur that you are?
So my superhero in my life, honestly, is 2 people. So my grandfather used to be an agent with State Farm for 33 years before he passed. And I was the oldest grand and also a girl because he had 3 boys. When I was younger, when they had trips from him winning his awards, I would go, I was just spoiled rotten. And he really, he was always my favorite person in the world, But as an adult, I wish I would have had these conversations with him that I feel would have really helped me. He did things like made sure I had good credit, but I had no idea what credit was. And trust me, I messed that all up. But the thing is as an adult, I was like, man, he worked so hard. He defied so many odds. He built a legacy. And I think about it every single day. My grandfather is the lock screen on my phone. He is the person who really tried my best to aspire to be like because he helped so many people. And at his service, there was such a strong footprint that he left behind that people from 30 years back were coming to his service and talking about how he helped, the levels of impact he had. Man, I want to do that. I want to create that. And so that's the one of the people. And then the other person is my mom. So my mom has always encouraged anything that I've done. She's just been super supportive. She has started various businesses over the years, and me watching that and seeing her go after those dreams, I think And looking back, I think like as an adult now, I'm like, man, that's where I get that from. That's where I get that spirit of entrepreneurship from. And so even now, she has her events and she has me being a speaker at her events, and she just talks about how proud she is of me. And I'm thinking, I'm just happy to make you proud.
Yeah. So, oh man, sorry, I kind of like got teary eyed. I don't know if you could tell, because honestly, my grandmother, like that's where the name comes from. She got married, but our organization is named after her because she was, a business owner. We talked about life insurance, we talked about death, and had those uncomfortable conversations that people back in the day were afraid of having. So as a grandparent, and them instilling those values in you, and now see it come about, even though we didn't make the best decisions or the best choices, and we had to bump our heads and then come back to their advice. I really I love that. And I love that you and your grandfather had that relationship, and, even having your mother as your wing woman and making her proud. I know she is proud of you. But yeah, that just really speaks volume, with all of those hats that you wear as a granddaughter, as a mother, as an actual daughter, mentor, author, and everything else. Like, how do you really balance your life around being a business owner and everything else?
So that took some. Let me tell you something. That took some learning. So for the longest, especially when I first lost my job, I was staying up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning. When I made my finance planner, that was a lot of 4:30 a.m. nights that I was staying up until after my kids went to sleep. Because I think any mother who, is into entrepreneurship, you really feel like you can only get work done after your kids go to bed. And so that was really hard for me, because I would wake up so tired and drained, and then I'm, bagging back cups and cups of coffee and all of that stuff. So eventually I was like, you know what? Let me take an inventory of my day. What are all the things that I'm doing in a day? I found some areas where I was really kind of wasting time, and I started to restructure and reformat my day. And a lot of that came from reading various books. And the more that I learn and grow as an entrepreneur, the more everything shifts. I used to stay up until 4:30 a.m. Now I get up at 4:30 a.m. And so that has just created just a huge shift, because I'm up before my children. I'm knocking out things that are fulfilling and self-care for me, organizing my day, able to get ready before my kids get up. And then now I'm waking them up in the best way possible. Like, I'm tickling them, they're waking up happy and stuff. And now I get to end my business day before they go to bed. We're eating dinner together, and I get to tuck them in and read them a story. Whereas before, it was a lot of me trying to figure it out, and I realized how much it was pulling away from them. Yeah. So really, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out how to organize your schedule, start by taking an inventory of your day, the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, map out in those hours. Then after you do that, start to figure out what's the most important. And then once you figure it out, you can start to schedule everything and put in your extracurriculars and the things that you wish you could have did but didn't have time to do, so you felt, and get that stuff plugged in. But that's been literally a game changer for me. My skin's been changing, girl. I ain't have pimples anymore. It's wild.
Amen. And just smooth skin. Yes, love it.
Yes.
Oh, with that being said, because I see that you're already giving us a little sneak peek in just what you do on an everyday basis. I really want to hear about, telling our audience about your book, Living Bougie and Balance. You talked about courses that you created for your community and for, clients coming in needing the help from a Boujee Banker. I'm sorry, the Boujee Banker. Tell us more about your products and services that you offer, because people are really waking up. They're becoming woke and they need this information. So tell us about, what's going on, what about the book and all the good stuff that's going on.
Yes, most definitely. So my brand on living bougie balance. So it's saying, yes, just have all the nice things, the things that you desire, but let's do it in a manner to which it is financially responsible. Yes. So that's where I focus. Pretty much all of my attention is on your relationship with money, how we can repair that, and then making everything look right with the numbers and holding you accountable to that process. So as she mentioned, I do have my very first book. It's called Living Bougie and Balance. And so, this book has just helped so many people already. It's sold in 30 states and 4 countries. And I've got so many positive reviews about it. If you are struggling with your relationship with money and you want to get down to the root and ask yourself those uncomfortable questions, that's what this book is for. And then I have my Living Bougie and Balance University. And so how that started was a finance accountability group, holding women accountable to the journey and making sure that they save their first $1,000, some $5,000, $10,000, pay down those debts and all that fun stuff. So that's what I offer. And I have my YouTube channel that's been helping as well. So please go subscribe and my podcast.
Yes, all the tea. Oh, just a little snippet. So, like I said, I know we're great, not to brag on us. I know you're great, but with More for More being a financially focused organization, can you tell me, the impact of finances in your day-to-day for both like personal and business?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I have to say, because I feel like in finance, everybody goes straight to numbers, and I try my best to kind of stray from that because there's some things that really need to be touched on. When you talk about your relationship with money, we have to understand that there's not only an emotional connection, but a psychological connection that we have to money, and that affects your day to day. So if you're not operating correctly with your money, you're probably not going to be in the best of moods. You're probably going to be stressed, have anxiety, those sleepless nights are going to creep in, stuff like that. So whether it's with your personal life or your business, you really need to get yourself in a healthy place with your money, because as much as we don't want to acknowledge it, our relationship with money and how we operate with money is really the foundation for overall peace and well-being. You have more affordability to healthcare, access to proper dental care, all of those things. It all starts with having your ducks in a row with your money. So whether that's in personal life or whether that's in your business life, either way, it needs to be together so that you can just have a good overall well-being.
Absolutely. And it takes me back to, you telling us about how you had a previous, a couple previous, businesses and jobs that, you were just kind of working at. It was going to be okay, draining your accounts. And because you didn't have things, properly in place, for business and personal, everything kind of ran together. So, that speaks volume. And, I truly appreciate that, just that, portion of, the advice as people are watching this. So absolutely. Well, how does our theme, your worth every dollar, connect to like women on a financial level? I know this year we're focused on our 4 cores of wealth, which are, mental, physical, emotional, financial. And you will really be focused on the financial aspect, with you being so knowledgeable and well-versed about the topic. So how would you say that connects to our theme of your worth every dollar?
I mean, it says it within itself. I think that I think some people have insecurities when it comes to their money, and some barriers that need to be created so that you can really start to function in a healthy space with your money. And you saying, I'm worth every dollar, you affirming to these women, you're worth every dollar, is letting them know that your money is your money. Like, take control of that. Have ownership over that. Find clarity over your finances and really move forward with that, because, you work too hard. You put in all that time, that energy, that effort, and you're paid for it. And you need to treat it like you would want someone to treat you.
Absolutely. There's costs and there's profit. So you have to make sure that you're not just paying for the materials, okay? You're paying for my labor too.
Hello, amen.
So, that's all in one. That's my price.
You're paying me for me. You're paying me for what we agreed my time, energy, and efforts are worth. And so if somebody is paying you for that, you need to treat it like it's worth something.
Yes.
So if you're saying that, then yeah, like respect the money that's given to you that you worked for. Respect it the same way you would want somebody to respect you, because they're showing you, hey, this is in a monetary form what we've agreed that your time, energy, and effort is worth. So how are you going to treat it when it's handed to you?
Absolutely. And that's, in the corporate world, your 9 to 5, as well as your own business. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Don't be afraid to say, this is my price. And if you can't afford it right now, I'll be here when you come back,
Girl, I got gray hairs with my first negotiation in business. I was like, I know I want to walk away from this money. I don't know, but I had to remember my values, like where you're worth and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
You get what you feel, say, and act on what you are worth. I will definitely say
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, give our audience just like a little hint of what you will be discussing at the conference, and like maybe a little like inspiration, as they are going along their journey of, finding out how much they're worth on and off paper, in the business, and, even in the, their 9 to 5.
Yeah, definitely. So in this conference, I'm talking about the financial piece and really just pouring into you guys understanding what it means to budget, what it means to really stick to that, and why it's so important. I think too often we hear budget and we think broke, but it's quite simply the opposite. You're not going to meet one wealthy person who's not on a financial plan. You're not going to meet one millionaire who's not on a financial plan. And if your goal is to get to the position to where you not only are earning 6 figures, but maintaining strong 5 and 6 figure, potentially 7-figure portfolios, you're going to need to get away from the stigma or the understanding that a budget is bad. A budget is the best. A budget will let you live bougie. A budget will let you live balanced. So I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys about just the financial aspect of everything, whether it be on the personal end or the business side. I've seen too often, and have even gone through it myself, where we make all this money as entrepreneurs and it comes in so quickly, and we as a people circulate $1.6 trillion. And that are we actually going to? When we start talking about net worth, a single Black female without a degree, her net worth is under $5. And with us starting these businesses and really trying to pour back into our communities, we have to change what our financial picture is. So I think what More for More is doing is really just way more important than a conference, way more important than, them being going on 3, 4, 5 years in business. It is a pinnacle in, changing communities and really getting our people to understand that we've got to do something now. Part of that is getting your relationship with money together. Part of that is, creating a sustainable business if you can, or making sure that you're teaching your children what you weren't taught. And if you weren't taught it, teaching yourself. And part of that is sharing what you've learned with other people. So you see that this conference is coming up. If you know about it, share it. Don't harbor that blessing to yourself, because you're going to walk away with something. And that means that if you're going to walk away with something, chances are someone in your circle can walk away with that same information. And what that creates is a circle of accountability, because once your flame gets ignited, someone else's flame will get ignited, and 2 flames put together starts a forest fire. And so I know that if you guys are saying, hey, I'm here for a reason, start asking yourself, would any of my friends like to be here for that same reason? And if you ask yourself that question and the answer is no, then that probably means you start need to hang around different friends. So, that's really all I want to say. If you could think of a friend who would like to watch this with you and like to really learn and grow, that's a friend that you need to develop with. That's a friend you need to hold close, because they're forward thinking. But if you think to yourself, is there a friend or a family member that I could send this to? And no is your immediate response, and that means that you're around the wrong group of people right now. You need to start working towards changing that, because what's going to happen is you're going to start growing and they're going to start looking at you.
That's a message in itself. Shucks. That's it. We don't need. This was the conference. No, I'm just kidding.
This was the conference. Shut
it down. Oh my goodness. I know you're doing amazing things that I know we didn't have. You haven't really spoke heavily about it, but I know you're doing things in the community. But what events or activities or, great works that you're doing that are coming up with your business, with your brand, that, that's helping the community, Yeah, talk about that. What's coming up so we can look forward.
Yeah, that's my thing. So I love giving. I love pouring back. It's always been a part of me. And I probably, you know what, my mama, that started from my mama, because she would always have me doing like food drives and clothing drives and, you know, all those type of things. And so I made a commitment with my brand, especially this year, that every single month of the year, we're going to be either giving in time and or money. So, you know, this past holiday season, we were able to give some single mothers with some money to help with the bills and Christmas gifts. Last month, we gave to a gala called I Believe Nation Foundation. So that's beautiful. They have a lot of efforts internationally as well as nationally. And then I've spoken at a few events just to pour into some women groups. And so every month this year, it's done something new, whether it's teens we're talking to, whether it's women we're talking to, or whether we're giving in donations for sanitary items, clothes, food, whatever the case, always something.
Yeah, see, you're not just a pretty face with education and mentorship and everything. You are making a difference.
Might say something different.
But your work speaks for itself. You know, your work ethic and your experiences and interacting with people speaks for itself. So I am just like amazed. I've learned new things, you know, speaking with you today, and I'm glad that I'm able to share you, because I know I didn't want to let, you know, I just want to keep you to myself, but now I'm glad I'm able to share you and what you're doing, and even, you know, able to work with you as a client, mentor, a mentee. You know, I'm just so happy for this experience, and I'm glad you came, you know, spoke with us today, and, you know, giving us again the opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. But with that being said, I know you were talking earlier about how our audience can find you. Please let us know before the event, even after the event, how can we find you on all social media platforms, websites, and all that good stuff? And we'll make sure we put it down, you know, so they can see it.
Yes, of course. You can Google the Boujee Banker. I can say I'm Googleable, but you can Google the Boujee Banker. My YouTube will come up, my podcast, my Instagram, my TikTok, all of the things will come up. I'm so super blessed to be in the position that I am right now. And I would love to be connected with any of you who find me, who want to be connected with me. Feel free to reach out. But yeah, it's the Boujee Banker.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure. We are ready to see you March 26, 2022, starting at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We cannot wait to hear all the nuggets that you have for us. And yeah, bring that beautiful smile and that energy. And we're about to have a good time. And you're going to be networking as well, right?
Yes, you know I am.
You still learn at the same time. So thank you. We can't wait to see you, and have a great day.
Thank you for having me.